I'm just like, yeah, that can never be me, or like, I don't know who he think he fucking with. Boom, boom, boom. Ha! Little did I know, shit just got completely worse. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Before I get into today's story time, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And you give my IG a follow and a look to the side. So for today's video, I'm coming back with a story time. I haven't done a story time in a very, very long time. Just off the fact that I felt like I didn't have any stories to tell. But I always have a story to tell portrayed into my life. So I feel like this story time is very important and very necessary for girls my age and younger. So let's just get into it. Okay guys, so for the person's sake and whatever, in case I blow up or whatever, I'd never, in my story times, I'd never say the person's name, so just, we'll make a name. His name could be Steven. Okay, so I met Steven when I was 19, and I met Steven on Twitter. Back then in '09, Twitter was popping. Twitter was like the next big thing after MySpace or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I met Steven on Twitter. Then later down the road, I found out that we had mutual friends. So me and Steven met during my first year of college. Like, I mean, we started talking during my first year of college. We hit it off pretty well, and everything seemed to be pretty great. So I think me and Steven exchanged numbers, and then like we was hanging out for like the next 3 to 6 months or whatever, and then on New Year's he decided to ask me to be his girlfriend, and here it goes. And from downhill it goes to there. So I can't say downhill because in the beginning it was fine, but okay, whatever. So after New Year's we decided to make it official. That's when everything seemed okay, or so I thought. This is how the narcissistic behavior started popping up, and this is how I slowly started realizing that I was dealing with a narcissist, and that I would still later on be dealing with the narcissist. I'm telling this story because I want females and younger girls such as myself to know that any type of form of abuse is not okay, and you do not have to stay. But also leave when you feel like you have the strength and when you're ready, because I know leaving is not easy. So I didn't really know what narcissistic was, or what consists of narcissistic behavior and this and that and the third. So I'm thinking this is just regular boyfriend and girlfriend stuff. We had little arguments here and there. We had disagreements, and we would kind of just like make up. I just noticed that like every time we would like have an argument or disagreement, he would just buy me something, and so I would just like forget about it or whatever the case may be. Another important note is to notice is that I dated Steven in my 20s. Like, you should be out here, like, trying to figure yourself out, hanging out with your girlfriends and stuff like that. And he was my first serious relationship. We was in a relationship for 4 to 5 years. So, like, that's all I knew. In my previous relationships, it was pretty fucked up. I didn't really have any good experience with men. And it's not up until now that I'm having positive and good experience. So if you want to check out my dating history background, I'll leave the link up there so you can check it out after this story time. So yeah, so we were dating, it was fun, it was cool, and then I don't know where it turned left, but like it turned left really fast. Like it wasn't like a slow way into narcissism, into the bad behavior, the toxic ways and stuff. It just went left, like pew, like it went left. My first real experience was when we went on a date. I'm not sure if it was for Valentine's Day or for like an anniversary or whatever the case may be. Anyways, we went out to go eat at this place called Jackson Hole's. I love their place. They have big burgers. If you live in New York, go check them out. So we went to eat at this place called Jackson Hole's. The waiter was kind of taking long. I'm not too sure why, but like I was okay with it. He was just doing the absolute fucking most. Like he was just like, oh, this waiter's taking too long, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, it's not even that deep. Like, we're here together, we're enjoying each other's company, like, the fuck? Anyways, 15 minutes later, I just remember him like knocking shit on the floor. I think first it was the silverware, and then second came like the cup. And I felt really bad and embarrassed because the waiter had to pick it up, and we still didn't get our food any quicker. So that was a sign number one that I should have seen, but I didn't. Later on, I guess it turned into like a year or so, and then that's when shit really just was like, okay, like this, I'm pretty sure is not how a relationship's supposed to go. So I guess after a year, we met each other's family and friends and stuff like that. Another sign that I should have known that this relationship was going to be toxic was because he was very disrespectful to his mother. At first, I thought maybe it was like a Spanish thing, not in terms of disrespect, like disrespect or like respect, like they're supposed to be the man of the house, and like they just like feel very empowered, or like they feel like nobody can tell them this, that, and the third. But no, he was just disrespectful as fuck. So he would just be very disrespectful to his mother. He would yell at her, curse at her, and I'm of African American descent. I don't know what the hell they were saying in Spanish. I just know that they look like me and this and that and the third, and that they would go back and forth, and it was just like appalling to watch, because I can never go back and forth with my mother like that, and I don't think I would ever want to go back and forth with my mother like that. I just love her entirely too much, even though she gets on my nerves. But like it would be full on like disrespect, blowouts, and like cursing her out, and then like putting her down. It was just like rage. Like you ever seen somebody get so mad at their mom and they're just like, oh, I fucking hate you. Like white people shit. Like some white people shit. I didn't say all, but like white people shit. Like when little kids be like, Mom, I fucking hate you, close my door. And the mother be like, okay, Steven, today's just not your day. It was like that type of stuff. But it was just like a full grown man that's raging like that and yelling at his mother in her house. Like the fuck? Like I didn't understand that. And then he would also take that same behavior and abuse it with his little brother. So we would just have like those type of fallouts. I would be like, yo, like, why are you arguing with your mother and your little brother like that? Like, those are the only people you have in this world. Like, I just couldn't fathom that type of behavior, because coming from my household and going to that household, it just, that never happened. Like, I've never like went through any types of form of abuse like that, or seen any type of abuse like that. So I remember with seeing all of that, I think I was telling my mom or somebody, and I think it was my mom though, and she was just like, if a guy disrespects his mother, he's never gonna have no respect for you. I don't know why at the time I thought I was different, or like some savior on a fucking white horse, but she was absolutely right. And that's when the disrespect really started to like come into play. I guess, like after 6 months to a year in psychology, they say a person can no longer hide them true self. So within time, like his personality was starting to come out, and it was like very heavy. And once again, for somebody that doesn't come from an abusive background, or like people talking down to them and stuff like that, you don't really know the signs. Keep in mind, I'm like 20, 21 barely almost, and I'm like going through all this shit. Meanwhile, my brain is still fucking developing. Like it was just like a mind fuck situation to me. So I'm just like, yeah, that can never be me, or like, I don't know who he think he fucking with. Boom, boom, boom. Ha! Little did I know, shit just got completely worse. So I think 2021, we're kind of like a year or whatever in, and we meet each other's families and friends, and like his friends is really cool, and then like I don't know, he just off the bat didn't like my friends, and my friends are fucking cool, like, because from somebody like me, I don't really call everybody my friend, and I've had bomb ass friends, and my friends are like family to me. So right off the back, that should have been sign number one. Like, he didn't like my friends for whatever reason. I guess he felt like they were like a threat to our relationship, or he felt like at the time they was putting shit into my head, because when you're in a relationship that's no good, sometimes your friends can see the toxicity before you see the toxicity. So my friends would just be like, yeah, he's no good for you, he's very controlling, manipulative, and like he doesn't like us, and we didn't even do anything, this and that and the third. But I would just brush it off to try to keep the peace, because I'm not really like a confrontational person. Like, I don't really like all that shit, because it takes a lot to get me upset. And then when I get upset, it's not like a normal people upset. It's like I want to throw these hands, and I want to fight, and this and that and the third. But so yeah, so like I said, I'm young, I don't know, I'm just like, I don't think so, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. So it just keeps getting worse. This time now is with the friends. It's like, oh, you hang out with your friends too much. Oh, you yeah, every week you're going out with them. You don't save your money to buy me shit or take me out, this and that and the third. And I'm just like, are we fucking married? Like, I think we just started like going out. I bought you sneakers. And I'm just like, my friends, nobody says nothing when you go out with your friends and you go party, you do whatever you do without there. Like, I don't even care. I'm not even the type of girlfriend that be like, you can't dance with no female, you can't do this, that, and the third. Like, go do what you're gonna do, because whatever you're gonna do is gonna come back to me, whether it's good or bad. Like, even if I want to know or I don't want to know, like, I'm just gonna find out. But I'm just mad cool. Like, I don't even be tripping off of the shit that he said I was tripping over or putting in my head. But anyway, so that became an issue. And we would have these bad fights. So we would have fights over like petty shit or whatever the case may be. And he would call. But these calls would be obsessive, you guys. Like, he would call me like morning to night. Like, I'm not even bullshitting. Like, I had screenshots, but I won't even put that shit up. But he would call all day. It got to the point where I have to just turn off my phone and like, yeah, just lie. He was just like, I'm gonna keep calling to make sure nobody else would call on your line, and so you can make no more phone calls and this and that. That's another sign. And he would also randomly pop up, but he would call my phone and I would have like 100 missed calls, 10 voicemails, pop-ups. It was like, it was getting heavy. And this time I was like 2 years in, almost three, and this and that and third. 3 years after the pop-ups and like the mistreats, the yells, the arguments, and the crying and the tears, and it was just like, bro, what the fuck is going on? At this point, I was physically, emotionally drained. Like, I didn't have the energy. I felt really low. I had low self-esteem. I didn't know why this was happening to me. I couldn't make fathom of it. I didn't understand. Like, I really loved this man, and it was just like, what did I do to deserve this shit? Like, but now I get it. But it was a really very low point for me. He was just very toxic. Nothing I did made him happy. He was just a miserable soul. And I guess me being happy and having like a strong background of family close together probably was, no, not probably, was the foundation of why he was low-key jealous and like just hurt, because he doesn't know who his father was. All I think he told me was that his father was like in Dominican Republic and his mother left, blah 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 blah, and shit like that. So he never met him and this and that and the third. So that plays into shit too. But and he had like also like a fucked up relationship. I mean, not a fucked up relationship, a fucked up childhood, so he says. But like, it's therapy out here, and he's one of those type of people that feel like therapy is on work, therapy is this, therapy is that. And I don't have time to explain to people why therapy works. Like, if that's your belief, that's your belief. But that's a person that really could use therapy to this day. But yeah, he was just one of those, and it just wasn't working. This is when it came to an end. One day he was sick, and I was sick, and I think my stomach was hurt just really, really bad or whatever. So he was just like, I think I had his computer at the time, because at the time I didn't have a computer for school. Anyways, I told you we live in the same area almost. Anyways, he was like, I'm not going down there to meet you. Come to my house and give it to me. And I was like, no, my stomach hurt. Like, we could just meet halfway. And then he was like, if I have to meet you halfway, it's going to be a problem. And I'm like, if you meet me halfway, it's going to be a problem. Like, nigga, it's your computer. I'm not feeling good. You're not feeling good. The least we can fucking do is meet each other halfway. Like, why would I go all the way up there and then have to come all the way back down to come to... Anyways, I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. So, long story short, we met each other, and because we met each other, you guys, World War III happened. He came down and he was like, I told you I don't fucking feel good. Mind you, we're outside. People are watching. People are listening. I don't like that stuff. He's going the fuck off. So he's like, I don't feel fucking good. I tell your stupid ass that if I had to come down here, I was gonna violate you, blah 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 blah. And I was just like, alright, here's your computer, I'ma holla at you. So I'm walking, and as I'm walking, like, I hear footsteps. So I turn around, I'm like, bro, you are not kidding me. This man followed me home. Well, not home, because he's a pussy, so I'll tell you where he followed me to. But anyway, this man is following me as I'm walking home, and he's saying vulgar and mean and hurtful shit, and I'm just like, okay. So like, I'm walking fast and like he's still going and going. I don't know, he said something and I just turned around and gave him the smack from Holyfield, and everybody just stopped what they were doing and was looking at me like, And that's when it clicked for me in my head that this was it. This is toxic. I don't want it no more. Fuck him. He could go to hell. And this and that and the third. So I slapped him. You think he would stop following me, correct, right? No. So he follows me till I get to like this little church that's on the corner before my house or before my block. And he was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, so you could stop right here through the church, but you can't come and do this shit across the street because you know my mom and steppops and set it off. I was like, you're a pussy, this and that and the third, blah, blah, blah. So I go upstairs, hurt, like mad emotional. I think my period or whatever was going on. And I was just mad emotional. And I tell my mom and steppops what happened. So then I don't know why. Oh, I think after that I cut him off or some shit. But my mom wasn't having that. And she wanted to see him. So they spoke to him and they apologized. And then after that, like it just sat within me. Like I was really done. You guys, I've been through so much mental abuse with him, and like yeah, it was like mental and emotional abuse that like a part of me can't even really recall everything that has happened. Like my friends probably could tell you more that happened than I can, because like it took me a while to really get over that shit. Like the damage was just so like fuck, like mind fuck, like I didn't even know. Like that's a part of the reason why I went to therapy too, like to heal that part and get it out and to like overcome it and to like just know it wasn't my fault and shit like that. But after that whole situation happened, I just was like, this is it, I don't want to do that no more. And I called it quits, and I've been single ever since. So now I'm done with him. Like I think when I broke up with him I was done with him, but I think I had like a few slip-ups where I would go back and forth and like have sex, yeah, just for sex strictly, and then like that would be that, and then I would get caught up, and then we just have sex and shit like that. But it wasn't until after that that I took my woman's class, and I realized that those were the traits of a narcissist, and it takes like 7 times for you to leave your abuser and be done with it. So I went through that for a little bit, for like a year, back and forth. And the times that I kept going back was really during the time that my mom's breast cancer had came back. So I was going through a lot, and I really didn't have anybody to talk to at the time, and it was just like very overwhelming. Actually, that last argument that we had, that was all through the time I was taking care of my mom with her second round of breast cancer, because she had breast cancer when I was in the third grade, and I didn't really get to like see her go through that because I was back and forth with my dad and my aunt, and that's all I really remember. So, and all I remember is like getting held back because I was just not really in the school that much. So then when she had it again this time when I was in college, it was like I had to drop out a semester, and I just had to cater to my mom and take care of her. I would do it all over again anyway. So I was dealing with that, and then I wasn't really dealing with how I was feeling. So like it was easy for him to creep back in that time around, and that's what led to like me breaking up with him that time around. But yeah, my brother had died. He knew my brother, or whatever the case may be. He even showed up at his funeral. Mind you, we wasn't together. Like I hate this man to this day. Like I don't hate him. It's just he's just not giving me the proper space to like move on. Like he continuously hits me up till this day, and I'm gonna tell you guys a little more about that. But anyways, he showed up at my brother's funeral, and I couldn't put two and two together. I was just like, why? Like, why are you here? Like, we ain't cool. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, talking to this other guy before. He took me out to eat, trying to make me feel better, talk about it, see where I was at. So we go. At the time, my ex was working at, I think it was like security guard at Macy's or whatever the case may be. It just so happened to be that we just ended up going over there, me and this guy. And while we're walking and going to the store, guess who we see in there? Him. And he's walking. So I'm like, hey, I think we should like leave or whatever the case may be. He's like, nah, no, we don't gotta leave. And I'm just like, please. And he was just like, no, he ain't gonna do shit. I was like, it's not about doing shit. It's just like, it was just too much at the time. Anyway, so we went in. He just disregarded my wishes, whatever. We went in. He was looking for some jeans. And then we walked away holding hands like assholes. So we walked and we go into the dressing room. Mind you, I always go into this dressing room with my mother or anybody else. So like we went into the dressing room together, and we get a knock on the door. It's like, yo, two people can't be in a dressing room. And I'm like, who the fuck? What the fuck? And it was him. And I was like, oh boy. I was like, let me go out to like figure it out. And the other guy's like, nah, he ain't gonna do nothing. You don't gotta go figure shit out. And I was like, okay. So I was like, just let me. He was like, nope. So then he pulls me back to the side, and then like they started arguing, and I'm just like, man, what the fuck is going on? This can't be my life. So they're arguing and arguing, and then next thing I'm thinking somebody, I think they're swinging hands, but at this point, like I'm in the middle trying to like break it up. But because I'm so little and so tiny, they both pushed me out the way, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, you guys do whatever you want to do, and that was that. So I don't know if they fought or whatever the case may happen. Anyways, long story short, that was one right there. But yeah, like he does random shit like that. I could be with the whole guy, he don't care, he'll try to ruin it, sabotage it. The next thing is it's 2020 now, and the recent hit up I had was something about I owe him a kid or like some dumb shit. What I'm just saying now is that even though I'm broken up with him, he still doesn't respect my space or respect me as a person, that I don't want to be with him. I don't want to have nothing to do with him. Like, he's blocked from social media. He's blocked from my life. I make sure all my family and friends kind of like block him, or like even if they wanted to be his friend or whatever the case may be, that's cool. Just don't tell me anything about him. And to respect my wishes. But he still bothers me to this day. I don't really feel like getting the order protection because I really don't want to be around him, and I just really despise the sight of him. It's just very, like, I never had a persistent person like that just keeps going and going. And it's just like every guy that I talk to, every whatever case may be, I don't want them to like fight him or even like give him that type of energy because he wants that. So it's kind of like at the point where I'm just like, I'm really kind of like exhausted. I just really don't know what to do. But like, it's not to the point where I'm scared or anything like that. But my friends and family feel a little scared, which I can understand. But it's just, yeah, man. So I'm still dealing with it, but not really dealing with it, if that makes sense. Like, I just ignore him. I just feel like a narcissist at the end of the day wants to have power over you, wants to make you feel like you're scared of them and this and that. And that's really not the case for me. But yeah, just never let the narcissist ever make you feel like any of this was your fault or like you deserved it. We all go through things in our life for a reason, and maybe a better woman who I am today. Because of that, I don't take no shit. Because of that, I'm a boss bitch. Because of that, I'm very outspoken and I'm very strong. So I had to go through that to get to here. So, and it's crazy because I don't hate him. I just wish that he would just really go away and leave me alone. But other than that, I don't really pay that man no mind. I just felt like this was a part of my life that I had to come on here and express and let it be gone. And I feel like with all the shit that I've been seeing in social media lately about these pretty ladies being in this relationship with this shitty ass man and they knocking their teeth out, beating them up, I just wanted to come on here and say, like, you deserve better and you definitely don't fucking deserve that. I know it's easier said than done, and I know how hard it is to leave and you go back. Like, I've been through it, so like I've never judged a woman when she goes back or she just feels like she's gonna like can't live without him. Like, I've been through all of that shit, so I get it. But just keep in mind it takes you a while to actually get up and leave your abuser. So I get it. Please feel free to email me or drop your comments, but just know that you're not in this alone and that you really don't deserve emotional, physical abuse. Thank God for me it wasn't physical, like he didn't put his hands on me, but maybe if I would have stayed longer it could have been that way. But you know, I was able to get out and I had the family and support for it. So that was just my experience of dealing with the narcissist slash abuser. And I hope you guys enjoy this story time. And remember, it's not your fault. You really, really don't have to stay with somebody who's being abusive to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your comments and thoughts below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!